Great, and I'll call the regular council meeting of Tuesday, June 4th, 2024 to order at 7 p.m. We'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the traditional territories of the Indigenous peoples of the Treaty 7 territory and the Otay-Pimisiwa Métis Government District 4. We respect the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and First Peoples of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our community. Item 2.1, June 4th, 2024 agenda. Are there any additions to the agenda? And who would like to make that motion?
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
Move that the June 4th, 2024 agenda be well, wait a minute. Where's that? Yeah, okay. Be amended to include award for contracted safety code inspection. No, that's not right. Actions under decision. Sorry.
That was out of this week.
Yeah, but that's the first one that's on the thing here. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. 4.3 under actions and decision.
Okay, all in favor? Motion carried.
Oh.
Okay, item 3.1, May 21st, 2024 regular council meeting. If everyone's reviewed that, are there any changes? No changes? Can I get a motion?
Sure.
Go ahead.
I'll make the motion that meetings be accepted as presented.
Okay, all in favor?
Uh,
Motion carried. Item 4.1, Crossfield Day Camp Recreation Funding, Director Nash.
Thank you, Mayor Harris. Good evening, Council. The Crossfield Summer Adventures Day Camp submitted a funding application to the Crossfield Recreation Board on April 26, 2024, requesting $7,500 for operational costs. That application was forwarded to and reviewed by the board, and taking into consideration the remaining budget from the spring funding allotment, the following motion was made, which is included in the report in front of you, which was to grant the Crossfield Summer Adventures Day Camp $5,564 to assist with some of their operating costs. It is recommended that council approve the recommendation from the Crossfield Recreation Board as presented.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, no questions? Can I get a motion?
Through the chair. I'll make the motion that council approves a recommendation from the Crossfield Recreation Board to grant the Crossfield Day Camp Society $5,564 in funding to assist with the operational costs, including facility rental, insurance liability, WWCB. Where's the WBC?
CB.
Okay. The BC cost, accounting software, mobile phone registration software, and bank fees.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, temporary road closure. McCool Street for Show and Shine. Director Lindsay Nash.
Good evening, Council. This is a reoccurring request. Local business is requesting a partial closure of McCool Street to host their 5th annual Show and Shine on July 27th. The closure will be from the south end of the Harvest Lounge and Grill parking lot entrance to the south of 710 McCool Street, ensuring that there's access for Plastifab if needed. As noted within the enclosed letter, the businesses along McCool Street are closed within that area on Saturdays and will not be affected by the road closure. The fire department and operations have been circulated and do not have any issues with the temporary closure, and the operations department will provide barricades for the road closure. Administration is recommending that the council grant the temporary closure of McCool Street from the south end of 813 McCool Street to 710 McCool Street for Show and Shine on July 27th from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. be permitted, and that the applicant provides a copy of adequate liability insurance listing the town of Crossfield as an additional named insured for the event, and that the town operations department provide the required barricades for the street. And the letter and the map is attached for council's consideration.
Excellent. Any questions? Okay, no questions. Who's going to make the motion?
Through the chair,
Go ahead.
I'll move that the temporary road closure as presented by administration be approved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, item 4.3 is the addition to our agenda. You would have gotten a separate email from Lindsay on the contracted inspection services. Go ahead, Director Nash.
Good evening, council. The town of Crossfield currently has a contract with Park Enterprise Limited for safety code inspections, which includes building, electrical, gas, plumbing, and private sewage permits. The current contract expires on June 30th, 2024. With the contract expiry coming up, administration put out a request for proposal at the end of April for safety codes inspection services, including fire inspections, and received 4 proposals. Administration currently maintains responsibility for the sale and administration of safety code permit files and issuance of electrical, gas, and plumbing permits, and we contract out our fire inspections to another agency. To ensure continuity of service with safety codes officers and to increase operational efficiencies, administration is looking at alternative processing methods to combine all safety codes inspections under one agency. The proponents' bids were based on knowledge, skills, years of experience, previous work history, and the services that will be delivered. The chosen proponent offers different processing and permitting issuance options that can be modified or adapted to fit with that works for the town. Safety codes officers will be available in the town 2 days each and every week for conducting inspections and consulting with administration, which is an increase from what we are currently receiving. All components related to permit issuance have metrics that are countable and measurable as noted in their RFP. IJD is exclusive to Central Alberta and is located in Red Deer. They work with similar sized communities experiencing similar growth patterns as Crossfield. They have a long-term partnership with all of the municipalities they serve. And upon completion of the references that were provided within the RFP, they all provided outstanding reviews, commenting that they had great communication with the town, their availability, and they always feel like they're part of the team. And they also give back to the community they serve with sponsorships. Administration is currently working on a service contract and will ensure the contract clearly outlines the levels of service required, including quarterly reports with permitting statistics and clearly defined termination clause for both parties. As part of the transition to the new agency, the chosen proponent will carry out the task of updating the eSite permitting templates, site reports, etc., as well as updating their website with the application forms and contact information. Administration will communicate with regular permit applicants such as home builders, advising of the change and outlining the new permitting process with the start date of July 2nd. Administration will also update our website to reflect the new permitting process and advise this on the town's social media sites of the new changes to the permitting process. Park Enterprise will close any open permits under their agency as of the transition date with the 1-year completion. There will be no interruption to inspection services, just a change in the permitting process. Administration recommends that the town of Crossfield proceed with IJD Inspections Limited for the Safety Codes Inspection Service contract for the town of Crossfield for a 3-year term.
Awesome, thank you. Any questions? Councilor Brennan.
Through the chair. I'm just curious, is there any reason that we can't do the fire safety or the fire inspections in-house, like through our own department? Like, is it just a lack of training or cost prohibitive or?
Director Nash on the other side.
Through the chair. Good question, Councilor Brennan.
Labor intensive?
Chief Mesner does have all the certifications to do fire inspections.
Right.
The bigger issue right now is capacity and time. So he will participate in a lot of the or in some of the inspections as well as investigations, primarily investigations, but so he'll do some inspections. He does currently tag along with some of the inspections as well.
Okay.
But just in order to ensure we have the capacity to have these inspections completed, especially with the growth, we need additional resources to help with that right now.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
It sounds a lot more efficient. Maybe with our process, get more efficient than. I agree.
So less of a question, more of a statement. So I'm happy that we're going with a new company. I think we've had a lot of complaints in the community as to the quality of the inspections that we have been getting. I do like that we have an out in the 3-year contract. I also like that we can measure the accountability.
Mhm.
I think that was the missing piece before. So if we're going to go this route, I'm hoping that the homeowners get a good solid inspection and better service than what they've been getting before, because I think that was part of the issue.
Yep.
So thanks for having a look at that and tendering it out and getting the right company for the job. Cross your fingers. Excellent. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, can I get a motion?
Through the chair. I move that IJD Inspections Limited be awarded the Safety Codes Inspection Services contract for the town of Crossfield, and that CAO Barney be authorized to enter into a 3-year service agreement.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion is carried. Thank you. Okay, item 5, council reports. I attended the Parade of Garage Sales, the Women in Business event, and both of them were outstanding. There was a lot of garage sales out there, lots of people walking and driving up and down the streets of Crossfield. That was nice to see. I took my scooter, so I didn't buy anything. Trying to sell, not gain more stuff. And the Women in Business event was outstanding. It's a great partnership with Airdrie Chamber and our chamber, and I think it works. I've attended all the CEO morning meetings the last couple of weeks, and moving forward, starting Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, looking forward to the FCM conference. Deputy Mayor Knight.
Nothing to report for past things, but I am also attending the FCM here Thursday to Sunday, so looking forward to that.
Great. Councillor Brennan.
Also, nothing further to report except apart from that FCM convention, same days.
Okay, Councillor Fox.
Nothing past to report, but I will be attending Pete Night Days this weekend on the 7th and the 8th.
Yeah, because you have to.
Mayor Harris will also be attending, doing the greeting from the town of Crossfield.
I will come back for the greeting, yes. Councillor Gustafson.
I do have some stuff to report, but my computer is doing an update right now, but I'll provide.
Do you want me to come back?
Yeah, we can come back to it. It's just about Bragg Creek and the Rockview Foundations.
Actually, we can come back to that once you can get your computer going. Councillor Lambert.
I have nothing past to report. My Saturday's going to be busy with parades, opening of new businesses, and my shift at the rodeo.
Yes, yes, you have a busy day.
Yes.
Thanks for doing that,
No
by
problem.
the way. So just so everybody knows, you're attending the grand opening of the PharmaSafe.
Yes.
Yeah. Councillor Bang.
I have nothing to report except I'll be attending the FCM conference as well.
Excellent. Do you need some more time?
Yeah.
Okay, Lindsay, would it be okay if we come back to that motion? And we'll give Councillor Gustus some time for his computer to kick on, and then we'll move on to the administrative update, and then we'll come back to that motion. Okay, great. So we'll move on to item 6.1, Department Director updates. So we'll have Director of Community Protective Services, Russ Nash, an update.
Thank you, Mayor Harris. So before you have the Community and Protective Services update. So I'll touch on a few items in here. We have submitted a grant application to the FCC Agri-Spirit program to purchase refrigeration storage and food storage for the Crossfield Food Hamper program. Within FCSS and community development, I'm sure we've all seen the advertising, but We have partnered with the Airdrie District Victims Assistance Society to provide a community debriefing in regards to the arrest that was made at W.G. Murdoch School last week. This community meeting / debriefing is an opportunity for the ADVAS for short to provide information on resources and supports that are available out there to individuals who have been affected by that incident. It is being held this Thursday, June 6th at the Community Hall from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Final preparations are being made for the Pete Night Days Pancake Breakfast that the town hosts at the community center here on Friday morning. It'll be held from 8 to 10:30 a.m. at the community hall. And a live band has once again been booked to provide some entertainment during the breakfast. We've also assisted the Golden Key Club with planning some of their events, including pickleball and a bocce ball tournament. In the Parks Department, the Splash Park has been started up. They've been working through all the regular cleaning and sanitation of the facility. And it is expected that the park will be open by this coming weekend here, June 8th, provided that water samples are okay and that the season opening inspection by AHS is approved. Railway Street shrub beds have been weeded and fertilized and all ready for the parade day, topping up all the wood chips in all of those beds, so they're looking pretty good. With the park sign replacement program, we've put out the drawings to some companies. We're just waiting quotes on those. The outdoor rink / pickleball, we do have a contractor that we're arranging to get the lines painted on there, as well as hopefully putting in some sleeves for some permanent nets. And we're getting some quotes on getting the board system repaired. And finally, with the Parks Department, the pathway replacement has been completed along Range Road 12. That also includes the installation of some root barrier to keep the roots from those aggressive poplar trees from doing further damage to the pavement. At the arena, Simcoe has been booked already to start the ice plant for August 26th with the tentative opening date of September 4th. Randy already has the majority of that ice time sold, so it'll be worth our time to get the ice in early. And lacrosse games are going on right now through the week. There's about a month remaining in their schedule with a final year-end tournament happening June 21st to 23rd. In the fire department, I think most people are aware now that Captain Joe Holstein has made the decision to retire after 40 years of service. Pretty great feat. Joe's been a beacon of the department, showing the heart of community service through his dedication and passion for emergency response. Joe will be continuing his time with the department in a different capacity, helping in public relations and attending special events and continuing that interaction with the community as a volunteer. As of May 28th, the fire department had attended 150 calls for service, with the majority of them being medical incidents. In municipal enforcement, a bike rodeo was held on May 30th in partnership with the Elementary School Parent Council, as well as the RCMP. And bylaw enforcement has started looking into the industrial area and the commercial area, trying to work on getting those properties cleaned up. Chatting with them, talking to them about the community standards bylaw and what it all means. So as far as I know, that's started out well. Hopefully that continues. And that's that for that report.
Thank you. Questions for Director Nash?
Through Chair.
Go ahead.
In regards to the industrial park, are we dealing with Carmen Harden as well? Nathan's property?
Good question.
I just know that it looks not nice out there.
Yeah, that'll be another area that we look into. I believe right now their first priority is to try and get the ones directly along 2A, and then they'll start moving to the other areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great question, Dr. Bang. I was there for KCS Rescue on the weekend for their grand opening, and as I drove through there, it is a mess. It's awful.
Mm.
So it is within our boundaries, so we should be looking after that too. No questions from me. I just want to thank you and Advis for the community briefing and supporting our community. It's needed, and it's good to see that the community is coming together with much needed support. And just wanted to say that, you know, my thoughts go out to everyone who's affected by this. So thanks for helping out. All right, any other questions?
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
Russ, do you think we could get a couple of garbage barrels in Veterans Park? There's nowhere there. If you pick up garbage when you're walking through there, there's nowhere to put it.
I will definitely look into that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. There's nothing else? Can I get a no motion yet? We'll just go again to Director of Operations, which is Russ Nash.
Thank you. Mary. Yes, again, you have the report in front of you. I'll just touch on a few specifics. I'm sure you've seen around town, they've been out painting traffic lines. Depending on the weather, we hope to have the town done before Pete Night Days this coming Friday. Range Road 12, as everybody knows, has had to be shut down from Lot Avenue to Western Drive due to soft wet conditions. Unfortunately, those conditions still remain. They're monitoring it daily. They currently don't have a timeline on when they'll be able to reopen it. And I believe Operations has spoken to the Rodeo Society about those unfortunate conditions there. The capital project to transform the single-purpose standing truck into a multi-purpose unit is still moving along. The lift system has been installed on the truck, and I believe it's gone, can't remember now if it's this week or next week, he told me. Oops. Anyway, it's going up to Edmonton. If it hasn't gone already, it's going up on Monday or Tuesday of next week. I apologize, I lost that date in my head. The asphalt overlay program, Hammond Avenue west of Munson Street has been completed, as well as the Lot Avenue at the entrance of Highway 2A. So that's all complete there. The sidewalk replacement will also be commencing later this spring, early here in the summertime. In water, wastewater, a quote is being sought for a sludge survey of our wastewater lagoon system, which would survey the 4 anaerobic cells as well as the facultative and storage cell. Water quality reports for the effluent wastewater to be used in the irrigation of farmland have come back as acceptable. However, due to the rainfall, we've not been able to irrigate just yet. And we are currently advertising for a wastewater operator level 1. The competition will remain open until a suitable candidate is found. And with capital projects, the PLC replacement, Joe is investigating other options to be able to keep the existing PLC, as new information has come forward that parts are actually available for the current one we have. So he's working on that. And then the turbidity monitor has been installed and is operational. I believe that's all I have for that one at this time.
Excellent, thank you. Questions for Director Nash?
Russ, I do actually have a question. It's pertaining to our water fill station. So I've been speaking to some of our customers who fill there, and they're actually filling from the bottom now, not the top. So they were just asking questions about maybe changing the system because it's more efficient. So it can take 7 minutes to fill versus 20 minutes to fill if they changed how they could fill.
I'll have to check in on that. I believe there are environments or I actually don't know who.
Okay.
Anyway, with the province, there's legislation around how you're allowed to fill, and depending on what
It's something
type
to do
of-
with the backflow. It's got to have
Yeah.
protective back
Right,
backflow on it.
right.
Yeah, it was kind of out of my realm, so I'm just, it's secondhand information. And another concern was too, is the fact that they have to climb up to move the hose to
Mm.
fill, which is safety hazard if you're on your own, if you're by yourself.
Right. So I guess the question is, just to clarify, if the bottom fill can be
So like if it could be
increased.
changed, yeah, to a bottom fill versus a top fill, because I don't think anybody generally top fills anymore.
So is it about the bottom or top fill, or is it about the
They want-
speed of, or is it about the speed of filling?
It's more the safety of being able to fill to the bottom
Mhm.
and more efficient versus
Okay.
the safety hazard with the top.
The bottom doesn't fill as fast, the way that it's hooked up.
It fills in about 7 minutes, whereas filling through the top
Mhm.
fills in 20.
Okay. And then the safety of,
And the
Yeah.
safety.
I'll talk to Joe about that one.
Thank you.
Great, thanks. Counselor Knight.
Here, in regards to Range Road 12, is operations gonna have a plan for, well, there'll be three options presented to council, or what's the plan? Can't imagine the plan is to keep it closed and then open it and then close it in next year. Is there any ideas what we can do to mitigate short-term, long-term?
So from what I understand, there's a couple significant issues with that road. One of them being that the base of that road was never correctly built. And then the other problem is the drainage around along that road. So there's really no drainage, so all the water sits alongside the road and then it just continually absorbs up into that road and keeps it soft. So unfortunately, I don't think there's a cheap fix to it. But it is something that needs to be addressed. So I believe we were talking with Murray about seeing what sort of options are out there, but it'll be an extensive fix. It won't be anything that can just be kind of quickly take the top off, put a new top back on.
In regards to the water though, like where that water drains back, goes past the golf course, it's just off the rail side, so it wouldn't be hard to create a drain out of the east side at least. The west is a different conversation, but to alleviate any drainage on the east side, that should be pretty simple, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd have to go and take another look at kind of the direction. I believe there used to be a culvert that used to go, or actually, no, I don't think there was a culvert. I think it was created when we put that pathway in, to be honest.
Okay.
And then it just dams up the water from going. I believe it would drain back toward the north, I think, and then along the tracks. So we'd have to look at some options there as to maybe a culvert goes in or something like that.
I just know it's pretty impactful for the number, the traffic goes down there, the buses, all the residents over there, it's quite a mess, and it'd be nice to come up with at least, hey, we can't do it because of this reason or all the rest of it, versus closing it, come up with some sort of plan. We
Yeah.
can fix it for this, or we can not fix it for this, and based on council's decision, if it's too much money, or something like that, right?
Yeah,
We could have some answers, that's all.
yeah, and there will be some investigation going into this for future consideration through capital budget time and items. The ultimate solution is to try and do it at the same time as we get water and sewer in that
Mhm.
road, because it's gonna be torn up anyway.
Mhm.
So if there's some way that we can figure out how to make that happen quicker, that would be ideal.
Well, thanks.
Questions from anyone else? Great, I was gonna ask how it would affect the timing with the water and sewer line going in, but sometimes it comes down to what comes off the table for something emerging that needs to happen. And do we switch the timing of those projects around? So up to you guys to come up with that plan for council and bring it back to us. But let's come up with some options and plans, as Councillor Knight said, and see where we go from there.
Absolutely,
Plans,
Yeah.
timelines, costs, all of those things.
yes. Yeah, the road
Um,
is definitely getting busier
Yes.
with the development on the north and west side there, so
Yeah.
something that needs to be
Um,
considered.
I have a question and I'm just curious. I asked you on Thursday if you have the answer. but Loughton 2A. We paved that area not only to fix the paving, but the main reason for that was to mitigate the flooding across the road. Have we gone and looked at that to see if the flooding will actually not occur anymore? Because it almost looks like there's not much of a ditch there, and how is that water going to get to the culvert that is existing?
So I did, thank you for bringing that up. I did talk to Murray about that. He said they did raise it up. He's monitoring that to see what kind of flow we get through there. They do have more room and ability to shape that ditch more. So if needed, they can shape that ditch more to get the water. If it does start draining back or backfilling back onto the road, then they can do some more.
Yeah. I can see that they raised it,
Yeah,
but the ditch part, you can see in some parts are still coming onto the road
okay.
or facing the road, not the ditch. As well as if you watch how the water flows, if you go to the next approach down and there's a culvert there, that's all flowing this way too. So if we don't address some of those problems, I think we're gonna have the same issue
Same issue,
as we did with the snow melt and with flooding during rain.
right.
So I don't know if we want to go back to the contractor and say, hey, let's do this now. It's part of the contract. So let's do it right now and do it right the first time
Sure.
and not wait until there's a problem. And, and second to that, maybe have them clean it up a little bit better. I think that should be part of their contract too, is the finished job on any of these jobs. It is a bit of a nightmare over there.
Okay. Absolutely.
Russ.
Yeah.
All right, looks like you're off the hook. Director Lindsay Nash, Director of Corporate Services, is up. We're just trying to find out more things that you can be director of.
Good evening, Council. A quick Director of Corporate Services update. As you can see in my report, May has seen a large increase in interaction with citizens from 687 in April to 857 in May. Mainly this is due to the increase with tax notices going out and just general inquiries of taxes, as well as water bills also went out then as well. So water meters, we're down to 21 residential water meters needing to be changed out starting in mid-June. Any properties that have not booked an appointment to have their meter changed out will receive a 48-hour cutoff notice in accordance with the town's current water and wastewater bylaw. We've been chasing these guys for 2 or 3 years now, and it's time to get it changed out. With regards to census, as of May 28th, we have there's 78.93. The census is completed up to 79. Oh my goodness, 78.93%, with 121 addresses being counted. This is 34% further along than other municipalities that also started May 1st. So it's continuing on. So we're kind of pushing it. Lauren's done a good job on that. The 2025 budget survey was posted on May 21st on the town's website and social media sites, as well as notices put out in all town mailboxes. As of May 28th, we had 51 responses to the survey, and the survey will remain open until June 14th. The 2024 combined tax notices were mailed out on May 16th, with a total of 1,921 taxation notices being sent out. For development building permit stats, there are 20 development permits issued that have been received. Their building permits, there's 8 new construction for the month of May for a total of 28 new home construction permits for 2024. And they are up, the new home construction permits are up from this time last year. Last year at this time, we only had 15, so we're seeing an increase. There are no new businesses and or home office occupation approvals as of May 28th, but there are 3 currently in the circulation process. And yeah, that's about the general of it, and attached is the interaction with the citizens.
Excellent. Thanks, Director Nash. Any questions? Question from me on the census, and great work on the census to Lauren, by the way, for getting that many. Does it still depend on or correlate with the funding that we receive from the government?
Yes, my understanding, it'll, at the end of the census, it actually will tell you how much money you've collected by completing the census.
Yes. And that all correlates on how many people fill out that form.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we want to encourage all of our residents
Yeah.
to fill out the census.
Because it helps with their funding,
Because-
funding dollars from the government.
Exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you. Okay, now let's have a motion. If there are no further questions,
Good, Chair.
go ahead.
I motion that the department director updates be accepted as presented.
All in favor? Motion carried. Counselor Gustafson, are you good to go?
You bet.
Okay, let's go back to item 5, council reports, and hear from Counselor Gustafson.
So just a couple of things from Chris Rowe, our CAO for the Rocky View Foundation. Just a couple of updates on the Bragg Creek communication plan being developed, and the CMHC seed loan application is in process. As for the Abreu Place Phase 2, the solarium is still waiting on building permit on it, but all the preparation work has begun. Landscaping should be completed in the next couple of weeks, and there's a workshop for some of the residents and that approval is still awaiting its development stage. So the Abreu bus has now been delivered to Camp Clark, and the logos have been submitted to begin on the bus route. And so hopefully that'll be coming soon. We had an Air Canada developer contact Rocky View Foundation on a possible land gift. So just to keep everybody up to date on that as well. And one more thing. So we're also doing a human resources policy review. So we're underway with that. And that's about it for the foundation for now.
Excellent, good report.
We're also doing council presentations. The first one is booked for Bicycle for the third week in June. And then Air Canada is next, and whenever Crossfield is, it will be coming as well. So
Excellent. Thank you.
you bet.
Okay, can I get a motion on item 5?
To the chair. I move that the council report be accepted as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 6.2, outstanding items list. CEO Barney, you're up. Pressure's off the directors.
I think they've taken enough pressure over the last couple of weeks. So nothing too significant on the outstanding action list. Of course, there's the addition of the item from this evening with the award for contracted safety code inspections that we'll move forward with actioning. Item 032, which is the Rocky View School Division ward redesign. We've drafted a letter to go off to Rocky View School Division. However, we will be looking to coordinate a meeting, an in-person meeting as well. So we'll be meeting this week to kind of facilitate and coordinate that with myself and Director Russ Nash and get that letter off to them.
So just to remind council, can you just let them know what the items are that we want to meet with them about? I think there was 3.
Yes, now you're testing my memory. So there is the ward redesign. There is the Vista School.
Joint use.
And the, yes,
Yeah.
reciprocal joint use agreement.
Yeah.
So 3 items. I anticipate some of those items we will be we're looking to meet with the full board on potentially. However, some of them may be with a greater focus on between their administration and ours. So may be able to make some headway on those more effectively that way. But for sure, the item as it relates to the board or the ward redesign, we'll be looking to connect with their board on that specific item.
And just to speak to that a little bit, I don't know if council had a chance to read the redesign, but every single option that they have given us does not work in Crossfield's favor. All 3 options that they presented are in favor of other municipalities and not Crossfield, whether it's Cochrane, whether it's Linden down the road or Airdrie. So our current option is a best option for us for now, or if they come up with a different solution. So those are some of the things that we want to push for.
Thank you, Mayor Harris. Yes, that is correct. And we've tried to highlight in the communication and can speak more holistically to it in a meeting with them as to what specifically we see as concerns and as relate to the options that they proposed. It seems like the proposals that have been placed forward have heavy emphasis on population. And we believe that there are other factors as well that probably should be considered in the redesign that we'll be looking to share with them in communications with their board in the meeting. And the only other item, again, that I'll just note is the wastewater treatment disposal feasibility study. That item is scheduled to come in a planning meeting to council on June 25th, with the final document coming forward to an open council meeting in July for approval. And that concludes the outstanding actions list update. If there's any questions, I'm happy to try and answer them.
Questions? Councillor Gustafson?
Through the chair. Just on the items that have been on the books here for over a year, or well, some that have been on for over a year. Do you see any of those that are coming up in Q2 have any struggles getting to that deadline?
Through the chair, yeah, there are a few items on here for the Q2 deadline. There being the noise bylaw, which is one item. That one is in draft mode, and we should be able to bring that one forward by the end of Q2. The Railway Street decorative lighting, we will be in consultation with their new contact there to try and get that item brought forward to council for resolution. I'm interested in getting that one off the plate specifically as well, because we really wanted to get the infrastructure out of the ground and have a solution to have at least have the infrastructure removed and then determine what we want to do with that. The next item being the rodeo ground lease agreement. That one may be one, along with the leasing of town facilities and land policy, that potentially, and the town-owned lands, those all kind of play together because they're looking at land use and strategies and things like that. Those may see an extension beyond the end of Q2. Any delays in those various pieces really links heavily back to resource availability and capacity that we're experiencing right now, being that we're down a few staff members. The rest of us are trying to keep the boat afloat, I'll put it that way. So understanding that those limitations in resources directly impact the ability to action some of those pieces that are more significant in nature.
Okay.
Any other questions? Excellent. If there's no questions, can I get a motion?
Through the chair,
Go ahead.
I move that the outstanding items list be accepted as presented.
All in favor? Yeah, motion carried. Okay, there's no correspondence. And upcoming events, everyone can go to the town website and see what's coming up. And in addition to that, remember Thursday night is the event with Advis for the community to get some assistance with the incident that happened last week. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Through chair,
Go ahead.
I will make the motion to adjourn.
Great, thank you.